Hey everyone, this is Mike from Real Dead, and this is.
Anthony.
And today we're going to give you our review of Wolfman. And I did not think this thing was worth going to see.
I think this thing is worth going to see.
So hang out with us. We're going to tell you this is a spoiler, so we're going to tell you parts of the movie. And Anthony says it's worth seeing. I'm saying it's not. Who's right? Who's wrong? We're getting ready to come right at you now. All right, so I want to first say overall my opinion, and Anthony and I will jump back and forth. This is actually Anthony's first time doing a movie review, so give us a little grace, give us a little leeway here. But we're trying to get him prepped for to take over the channel full time in 30 years, right, Anthony?
Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. So look, we're going to talk about this movie first. Wolfman, rated R, 1 hour and 43 minutes. I did think it was just a little long, even though that's not a long time. Anthony, what was your thought of that?
It felt longer than it really was.
Yeah, so it felt a little bit long at an hour and 43 minutes. It is rated R, horror mystery thriller, and it's got a really good cast. There you can see the 58 score from Rotten Tomato. And then we got down here, you got Lee Wanell, who actually did Saw. He's the actor in Saw, but he wrote Saw. He also did The Invisible Man a few years ago. You got Christopher Abbott in it, who plays the main character, Blake. And then you got Julia Garner in it as well, playing Julia Garner. No, Julia Garner playing Charlotte. Let me get that right. And Christopher Abbott playing Blake. Then you got Sam Jaeger as well, as an actor in it as well. So we're going to go into the spoilers of this right off the bat. So I was ready to like this movie. I was ready to love this movie. It's father son out hunting. The father is just real protective, right, Anthony?
Very protective.
But it's a dark movie. The whole movie's kind of dark. They're out hunting. It's right before nightfall, and uh, they're trying to hunt. They see a doe, and the dad's getting ready to shoot it. It walks away, and then the young boy does what, Anthony?
He runs away.
He goes away, and he's going to try to hunt it himself and get a good shot on it. But what does he see in the scope?
A wolf.
He sees the wolf man himself right off the bat. So it was kind of creepy and eerie, and you kept wondering what's going to pop up in the scope of that gun. Then the dad comes across around and kind of gets on to him, didn't he? Pretty bad about not paying attention, and then all hell breaks loose. The wolf man comes after him. The wolf eats a deer, and he tells his son that it's a bear out in the woods. Mm-hmm. Then when they get back to the house, he starts going on like a ham radio. He's calling out to evidently a neighbor nearby, saying, "Hey, I seen it. I finally saw it. We got to go hunt this thing." And at the very beginning of it, talks about something in the woods there. It's called, I think, the face of the wolf. But it's a disease like that is passed on. It's not like the typical werewolf movie. There's a lot of relations to me very similar to The Fly. Anthony, I don't know if you've ever seen that. Have you? The original Fly?
No,
not the original Fly, but the one with a Bloom in it. But yeah, there's a lot of his character changes into the werewolf, similar to The Fly, in my opinion. So then they go to a city. You see them working in a city, and it's the daughter and the father have a really close relationship. The mother is kind of the worker. The dad's out of work. He's taking care of the daughter. Michelle. Anthony, what did you think about that relationship between the daughter and the father?
I liked it. I think they had a very close bond. I think they definitely had a closer bond than the mother and the daughter.
And the mother admits that in the movie. She says, yes, y'all are closer than I am, and I've kind of lost out on that. And there's this little thing they do where he touches her head and says, "What am I thinking?" And she says, "I love my daughter. I love you," or something of that effect. So that's played on throughout the movie, all the way up into the transformation into the werewolf. That'll come back at the very end of the movie as well. So long story short, he finds out that his dad, who has been missing for a long time, is deceased, and he has the property now. So he's trying to go back, and he tells his wife, "Hey, we can work on a relationship. Go back to Oregon and I clean out the house and then we'll come back. Maybe we stay the whole summer. He's a writer. She's a journalist who does some writing as well. But so they were going to stay like the whole summertime in Oregon and just try to bond as a family. And on the way there, right off the bat, he's driving this little van truck, and he picks up this neighbor who says, "No, that's not the right road. That's my road." And he's going to show him how to get there. And then Anthony, what happens while he's driving down?
They go into a wreck. They about hit the wolf man, but they got into a wreck trying to dodge him.
Yes, they tried to try to dodge the wolf man, ran into a tree and stuff. And then the wolf man creates havoc. The wolf man basically eats, it looks like, the passenger in the car, and then he's coming after them, the family. So they run through the woods, kind of unbelievable. So they run through the woods. They get to the house, and they get inside the house. The wolf is trying to get them. Wolfman's trying to get them. And then you start seeing characteristics of the father in this movie. I think it's Blake is his name. Yeah. He starts slowly turning, right, Anthony?
Starts turning into a wolf.
Yeah, he starts hearing things, and he thinks things are trying to get in the house, and kind of find out it's a spider in a room, and it's making all this noise in his head. He can't understand his wife and daughter talking anymore. And then eventually he starts turning more into the wolf himself. He loses a tooth. He smells some old meat in the house that was being aged. And he just starts slowly turning into wolf. That's one thing I liked about this movie. It was different. The transformation was over time, and more times than not, there was one section about 30 seconds he kind of turned. But it's not the typical werewolf, is it, Anthony? Kind of just looked like a human with a few little changes in the jawline and the fingernails and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's some pretty gruesome stuff in here. The movie's really dark. The sound is very important for this movie. A few jump scares along the way, Anthony.
Yes. Sure.
So, long story short, my issue with the whole movie is very, in my opinion, predictable.
Very predictable.
You thought it was?
Yes, that was my issue too.
Yeah. So I thought the very beginning when they said that his dad was dead and they never found the body, I'm like, well, he's the Wolfman. I mean, I think during the movie, I leaned over and told Anthony, I said, his dad's the Wolfman. And sure enough, that's what happens. The guy that attacks them at the house is his father. And you find that out in the movie when he kills his father. I'm not going to tell you how he did it, which is pretty gruesome. But you see the tattoo on his wrist, and you know that's his dad. But he's turning himself. And to kind of shorten this up, he is trying to get to his own family. And at the very end, they go into a blind, kind of like the blind at the very beginning. It's late at night. Anthony's he's ready to go to sleep. So he's trying to, the wolf man who is the father, Blake, is trying to get his wife and daughter in a blind, and he comes up to the top of it, and the daughter knows what he wants. And what does he want, Anthony?
To kill.
He wanted them to kill him. So, Julia Garner, who is Charlotte in the movie, the daughter says, kill him. He wants to end, and she shoots him and kills him. There is another part in this movie which, and I knew that right off the bat too. I mean, you kind of knew the whole thing, the whole father loving his family, and he's going to give his life up at the end of it. It was very, very predictable.
Very.
Now, was the acting good?
It was okay. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought the acting was really good in it. It was a kind of a dark movie, not quite Nosferatu dark, but it was pretty dark. It's rated R. Anthony's 14. He went with us, but other than a few dirty words, it was nothing else. There was no sex in it. There was a little bit of graphic. One scene that was pretty graphic, and if you're watching this, you probably saw it yourself already, but he chews his leg off. He starts chewing at his arm that got scratched. But, this disease is coming on to him. This parasite or disease is coming on to him, and that's how he's transforming. It's not just one big bite or like a vampire bite, a wolf bite that he just turns like that. It's not like American Werewolf in London where he does it all at one time. It's a slow process. What are some cons you thought, Anthony? Some things you didn't like about it?
It was too predictable. That's really the only thing that I really didn't like.
Yeah, it is so predictable that sometimes comes across a little cheesy to me in a way.
It was a little cheesy.
Because it's you just know what's going to happen, and sure enough, everything that you predicted happened. All right, so Anthony, at a scale of 1 to 10, 5 being average, what would you give this movie?
A 3.
A 3?
1 to 5. That's what you said.
No, 5. No, 1 to 10.
Oh, okay. I'll give it a 6.
Okay, you're gonna give it a 6.
Yeah.
Anthony goes with a 6, and guess what? I'm going to give it a 6 as well. Originally, I thought this could have been a 7 maybe when I first left the theater, but then the more I drove home and thought about how predictable it was, is this a good movie? It's okay. 5 being average, it's a 6. Is it one worth going to see in the theater, Anthony?
No, just watch it at home on your TV.
Yeah, so if you have nothing to do and you want to go see it on the big screen, I would definitely recommend IMAX. We didn't get it in IMAX. The sound is really great in this movie, some of the sound effects. One other thing I thought that was kind of cheesy, I like the idea of it, but they start showing you in the movie his point of view as the wolf and what he can hear and can't hear and see.
Mhm.
And then on their end, they're showing their point of view as well. And to me, the CGI, I just wasn't a big fan of it when it did this, like
When
made
it
their
turned blue and the eyes
blue
are
and
all
red and green.
yellow.
I
Yeah.
like the idea of what they were trying to do, showing both point of views, but I just thought it looked a little too cheesy for me. But
Yeah.
hey, thank you guys. Please like, comment, subscribe to Real Dead. Join us on Blue Sky as well. And tell us your opinion. Did you like this movie? Did you not like this movie? And are you going to see it at home? If you're a movie theater connoisseur and you want to see everything in the movie theater, go ahead and check it out. If you don't want to spend the money, stay at home. When it comes out streaming, I think you'll be okay, right?
Yeah.
All right,
For
have a
sure.
good one. Bye.
Bye.